What is up, Chicago Bears fans? Welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on our Chicago Bears. I'm Owen James, your host, and this is your latest news, guys. Look, rookie minicamp is on the way, and all those draft picks will be there. But not just all the draft picks, guys, also some UDFAs, obviously, that we signed. You know, the guys that are obviously out there, Jerome Robinson, Javier Carlton, Tysheem Johnson, a number of them. Dion Hankins. There's a lot of talent there. Power Eccles, Major Burns, obviously all going to this rookie minicamp. Adding to that, of course, as well, the guys who are invitees and some veterans as well who will be coming along to the to the mini camp as well. So look, there's a number of players going to be there at this rookie mini camp, and the first chance for the coaching staff to work with and to see some of these rookies picked up either through the undrafted free agent market or drafted in the NFL draft. Now, obviously, Colston Loveland will not be there. He will miss all those rookie mini camps, the OTAs, etc., due to his continuing recovery from shoulder surgery. It's hoped that at some point he will return during training camp, but to the extent that he will be ready, obviously, we do not know. Now, we know he's currently running, he's currently catching balls, but he is not taking part in any sort of contact sessions or whatsoever. But we're going to talk about a possible safety. Now, we talked about Tysheem Johnson the other day. We referenced him. We're going to talk about one of the people who has got just an absolutely fabulous name. And I've got to say, guys, I love some of the names in the NFL. Some of the names that just are out there are hilarious. I mean, Clinton Dix, Storm Duck, Smoke Monday, Bumper Pool, Tonka Hemingway. Just unbelievably good names, and we've got two, haven't we, coming to obviously rookie minicamp and hoping as UDFAs to become part of that 90-man preseason roster. Power Eccles, brilliantly named Power Eccles, a linebacker. What a good name for a linebacker. And of course the safety Major Burns. I mean, seriously, did his mum and dad not like him or something? I don't know. It's a really weird name, isn't it? Very, very weird name. So we're going to talk about Major Burns, the player, not getting a major burn, because that's going to fucking hurt. We're going to talk, obviously, as well about a long snapper. Random thing to talk about, I know, but we're going to mention a long snapper nonetheless. Right, let's start off by talking about old Major Burns, shall we? Now, he's a safety out of LSU. Obviously, was with Georgia as well. Someone who there is high hopes for, that he can come in and he can be a player that really can add some sufficient quality to the safety room. Now, we have, obviously got Jaquan Brisker. We have obviously got Kevin Byard. There was also talk by Dennis Allen of Kyler Gordon even perhaps playing there. But I think there was a kind of general feeling that the Bears needed to add a safety of some description. Now, there was possibilities in the draft. We didn't go down that route. Kevin Winston, Castro, for example, Javier Watts, the guys later in the draft, rather than obviously even Nick Emanwari went later, didn't he, in the draft? So, look, you can see that perhaps safeties aren't valued to the extent that they should be. But, certainly someone that we picked up is this UDFA, and there are high hopes for Major Burns, that he can be someone who can be a major part of the Chicago Bears in the new season. Now, here is Major Burns' stats. 5-year starter, 5-year player, out of Georgia and LSU. So Georgia in 2020, 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 assisted, no passes defense, no sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions, no yards, and no TDs. Then in 2021, he transferred to LSU, where he had 25 total tackles, 16 solos, 9 assisted, 1 pass defense, 1 interception, and 18 yards for that interception. In 2022, 37 total tackles, 24 solos, 13 assisted, 4 passes defensed, and no sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. Good year in 2023, however. The 4 passes defensed in 2022 were good. He did obviously pick up that interception in 2023. Also, 3 more passes defensed. So, 4 involvements in obviously disrupting the opposition offense there. And Also a sack as well. Like I said, 90 total tackles that year, 44 solo, 46 assisted, and then 2024, his production did come down, 49 totals, 19 solos, 30 assisted, 2 passes defence, 1.5 sacks, excellent, 1 forced fumble. So he did obviously get involved as part of that defence, generating some numbers there. So look at this guy has been possible. Now look, we all hope, don't we, that when it comes to this undrafted free agent market, that we manage to find someone who is a bit of a kind of rough diamond, someone who you can bring in, who you can polish up, and will certainly become an important part of the team. He's a big guy, Major Burns. He's 6'2", 207 pounds. So he's certainly a big physical guy. The issue with him is that he lacks top end speed. That's the issue with him. But he has good burst and good strength. He's played all over the field as well. He has a position flexibility. He's played as a box safety, a free safety, a slot corner. And even at one point, apparently lined up as an edge rusher for LSU. So this is a big guy and a guy who can play in a number of different positions in the defensive backs. So I think this is certainly someone who, like I said, we're hoping that he could become an important part of this roster and perhaps, like I said, add that missing safety piece. I think there certainly will be a battle between him and Tysheem Johnson, the Oregon Duck, to who is victorious and who emerges and goes on to that 90-man roster, if either of them do, of course. Right, let's move it along now. The other UDFA that we selected, obviously, was a long snapper called Luke Elkin. Now, let's face it, long snappers are often not talked about, are they? It's not really a kind of in thing to talk about the long snapper. We talk about the quarterback, we talk about the wide receivers, the tight ends, the edge rushers, the cornerbacks, the linebackers, the D linemen. We talk about all those guys, and we talk about it in sort of great terms, but we very rarely talk about the long snapper. Now, the Bears obviously had Scott Daly as a long snapper last season, even Cole Kmet for one game. Scott Daly did a fairly solid job. He did a fairly solid job as the long snapper. Now, one of the players that the Bears have brought in to the UDFA is the Iowa Hawkeye, Luke Elkin, who is described as being a very, very talented, very good long snapper. It's obviously a very bizarre position, isn't it? But why has Luke Elkin got people talking? Why are we suddenly talking long snappers? What is the interest there in the long snapper? Well, apparently. Well, not apparently, but we know that Luke Elkin, for a couple of seasons, actually worked with Bears punter Tory Taylor, another fellow Iowa Hawkeye, and had an excellent relationship with said Iowa Hawkeye during their time playing together. Now, there is perhaps a little bit of, I don't know, let's call it lazy journalism, but a number of people projecting that this could be a death knell for Scott Daly as the long snapper, and Luke Elkin could come in and win that spot in training camp. Now, look, you don't tend to draft a long snapper unless you're really bad at drafting, or unless you've got one that is just unbelievably good at long snapping. Perhaps not. But you know what I mean. Still, Luke Elkin, obviously, Iowa Hawkeye, is he someone that can kind of break through? Can he make that 90-man roster and then obviously make the 53-man roster and become the Bears' new long snapper, given his excellent relationship with Tory Taylor, obviously, who is the punter? Obviously, got to have a good long snap for the punt, and also the holder as well for whoever is the kicker, whether that be Kim or Cairo Santos. I've got to say, it would be very harsh to get rid of Cairo Santos, in my opinion. But look, interesting times upcoming with this rookie minicamp. Interesting players coming to this rookie minicamp. Like I said, you've got Major Burns, safety, Luke Elkin, long snapper. Another one that's been mentioned, I think, is obviously Power Eccles, the linebacker who was rated the 12th best UDFA out there. So there's quite clearly some talent here, and we know that you can find a gem. There is a large number of undrafted free agents starting in the NFL most weekends, and there's those that go on even to play in the get into the Hall of Fame. We've got examples of that from the past. So hopefully, that we can unearth some rough diamonds to come in and kind of help to develop this roster and take this roster forward and supplement, obviously, those star names that we got in the draft, that we got in free agency as well. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on these UDFAs in particular. What do you think of the long snapper? What do you think of the safety? Thank you for watching Bears Huddle podcast, guys. As always, on the way out, please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. And remember always, bear down. See you later, Chicago.